Hello and welcome back to Cartoon Conversations with Jim Bridges and Tom Rayner. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Jim.
Yes, well, let's get...
Hello, viewers.
Yeah.
Don't forget the viewers.
Don't forget the viewers, yes. And as I always say, in a cartoon conversation, if you don't like what we do or try me explaining cartoons, just switch it off and look at the cartoons.
Or I could refer you to another channel.
Yes, it's a different type of cartoon conversation, but... Okay, well, let's get stuck into it. Christopher Downs, eh? And who's that he's drawn, Tom?
It's Greg Hunt, the Federal Minister of Health, whose job it is to sell us the COVIDSafe app and trying to convince us, no, it's not spying on us. Mm. It's there so we can have, if we all download it and use it, they can lift the restrictions earlier.
And it's an interesting cartoon because the centre panel is sort of small at the bottom and it goes up to with the H.O and it's red. And the other two panels are blue, so they really contrast. And of course, he's also doing something that's very unusual. He's colouring in his speech balloons, and notice they're different colours because they're different
and that's
people.
Because it's colourful speech.
Oh, colour. Oh, yeah, sure, Tom. Yeah.
Anyway, let's go to the next one. Here we have two phones, like two dogs, sniffing each other. Now, you wonder why they're doing that? Well, this is how the phones are going to operate with the COVIDSafe app. They actually ping another phone nearby over Bluetooth to see who it belongs to and if that person has had the COVID-19 virus.
So where it says sniff, you have to put ping in your head, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a ping, but actually, a bit like dogs, sniff, sniff.
And and of course, Christopher Downs has sort of got the leaves falling down, so he's got the autumnal look because that's the time of year.
Well, being in Tasmania too, it probably makes...
There'd be snow on the ground now, wouldn't there?
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, okay.
If not, it's raining.
Stop hanging shit on bloody Tassie, mate.
Okay, now we have... Now you can explain it.
The relaxation, it's called.
And with apologies to...
Manet. It's a famous painting, except that the COVID symbol's been turned into the naked woman in the picture, blown up, and it looks like it's a refugee from a Hieronymus Bosch picture.
I think she's symbolised in any way.
Yeah, but you see the eyes. All the people in have got eyes repainted on them, and the only one who's actually seems to be conscious of what's really going on is the actual COVID symbol as she looks at you. And of course, complacency and economic necessity. And the economic necessity, the hat has a little phone in his pocket, a calculator for doing business, obviously. Meanwhile, the other girl's going nuts in the background with a cabin fever.
And that's how we all feel, I think. We all feel we've been locked up for long enough. Mm. And when are we allowed to go back?
We want to relax the rules, but dodgy.
Okay, this one we have Matt says he's developing the Barnaby app that will alert you if the great man is nearby or about to make a statement.
And that's Barnaby in the background with the hat, and that wonderful picture of
Peter Dutton.
Peter Dutton, old potato head, or what they call him, and he's got the symbol of Bluetooth, and of course he looks like Big Brother. And of course, everybody else has got the look of total...
I think Potato Head must have an inbuilt app. So when he's nearby someone who hasn't downloaded his app, it goes beep beep. .
Okay, let's move on. Now this is
you
terrific.
think someone's behind you? You've been followed? You've been spied upon?
Tracking. The tracks you leave. I think it's great because it's a cartoon of freedom on the beach, isn't it? Walking along the beach.
Yeah. Well, as Matt says, Australians meek in a crisis. They rush to download reveals true Australian character.
Yes.
I think it says that Australians are willing to cooperate.
Yeah, you reckon?
Yeah,
I think they're too scared not to.
could be.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just want to get back out to the beaches and go surfing and do all that stuff. And if it means carrying around the government's, spying app, and we can get out quicker, I guess we'll do it.
That's right. That's right.
But great scene,
Hmm.
nice picture, and good concept. Now we have Craig Mann, the Gold Coast Bulletin.
Yeah, he's not interested in Big Brother, but Little Brother.
Yeah, interesting, the Big Brother aspect is TV that's bigger than big. But the young girl's problem is small. Her little brother.
I love her eyes. You just
Yeah.
see him. She's so pissed off with the situation.
Not at him again.
Yeah, and as he flies through the air like a ninja or something.
Long time since.
And look at
I've
that
seen
big
it.
television set, eh?
Yeah, it's
And-
amazing.
And look at the keyboard.
Okay, now John Kadelka. It's
The Hobart Mercury.
yeah. Message from COVIDSafe. And it's telling him that he ought to get off the couch for a while.
Yeah, but he's not monitoring his location,
Yeah, so how do they know he's been lying on the couch for the last month?
Yeah, Kadelka always makes you smile. His stuff is always funny.
And we can relate to that, can't we?
Oh, we certainly can, yeah.
How rude of them.
He looks like his nose even needs a shave, let alone the rest of him.
The Chinese,
We've entered a different world now, haven't we?
the diplomatic crisis.
Yeah.
Australia was one of the few countries to suggest that we have an inquiry into the World Health Organization and China's handling of the outbreak of the
And also the source of
COVID
it.
virus.
And also the source of it.
Yeah.
And who's leading the way there? That's
Marie, she's the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Then we got Scott Morrison, and of course old potato head Peter Dutton,
with his
clop and his jackboots.
and twirling his chopsticks.
He wouldn't know the meaning of soul.
And that's a really scary cartoon because that's all that red. And look how the COVID symbol is actually incorporated, like everybody else has it coming out of people's skins and stuff like that, but it's actually in the... It's in
Yeah, it's almost like it's part of the dragon.
That's right. And look at those eyes.
Very suggestive.
And all that red, it's really scary, isn't it?
Yeah. I just wonder what they were. It's its claws.
Yeah.
The sleeping dragon.
Yeah. Don't wake it.
Ambassadorship. The Chinese ambassador just given a subtle warning to Australia, to the Prime Minister.
Who's
Don't
looking
call for an inquiry.
Yeah. Yeah, or we'll make you an offer you can't refuse.
What are they going to threaten the farm? Mind you, they own most of the farms anyway.
We know where your farmers live. Look at the dog barking at its own reflection. And of course it's got the old Parliament House and the new Parliament House.
Yes.
So they're, and of course the whole thing about everybody in China smokes, all the smoke coming out of the car.
Very sinister.
And you have to start to feel sorry for Scott Morrison looking at how Mark Knight's drawn him.
He's probably too scared to go home now to what might be under his bedsheets.
Yeah, well, he's sort of caught between a rock and a hard place, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's what the expression says.
Now, here we go. Where did I come from? Every child asks that question.
Yeah, the need for an independent inquiry into the origins of COVID-19. And this is a famous book, Where Did I Come From? It's about sex for little kids. And, over 5 million people have read the book, but they've got over 3 million infected where the button was, and the facts without any nonsense. And of course, who's reading it? But the actual COVID, COVID wants to find out what's going on as well. Yeah.
So can we really have an independent inquiry?
I don't think so. No, that's right. And
Here's
Andrew
the
Dyson.
Prime Minister. He, probably asked him, why don't we have a vaccine?
Yeah.
And the scientists are saying, well, we're waiting on a vaccine.
For someone else to do it.
And the symbology of the things that Australian manufacturing's dead. We self-sufficiency's gone out of the window. We tend to rely on global supply chains now for what we need.
Yeah, good old globalisation. And of course, the Hills hoist looks like it's just a couple of hangers.
A memory now.
A couple of hangers sticking up there, doesn't it? You know.
There was a time when Australia would have found its own solutions.
Yeah, and of course now you've got the flower dying.
Yeah,
even the flowers dying.
A potent symbol. It's
no one's
like
been around to sort of,
dead.
no one's been around to do anything in manufacturing.
Yep. Okay, now we have the
Left to right.
diplomatic faux pas.
From left to right, who's the guy on the left?
We've got Andrew Forrest Twiggy.
Yes.
We've got Peter Dutton.
Do you notice that he's putting the mask?
Say no, say
He's
no
putting
evil.
like see no evil, say no evil.
And Scott Morrison,
no evil.
he sees no evil.
Yeah.
And Greg Hunt hears no evil.
Yeah.
And the Chinese Consul General, he hears all.
Well, the point is he was invited, unbeknownst to the government, to the meeting. And do you want to tell that story about the what Twiggy did?
Yeah, well, Twiggy was given a whole bunch of COVID testing gear from China, and he there's a whole thing what this press conference was about, how generous of Twiggy to be able to do this. And as it turns out, he charged the government the cost price, which was $2 something per test. But it was made to look like that Twiggy had been a great benefactor to the people of Australia, but he hadn't.
That's what I thought it was. And of course, Scott Morrison's wearing back to school badge. And as usual, you've got to spend a bit of time with David Rowe because he's got all these little cookies.
And we've got the COVID files up the top on the right-hand side.
Yes. And down the bottom, it's all testing.
Yeah. So lots and lots of testing equipment.
But I love the fact that Twiggy's put the mask. It's inferred that Twiggy's put the mask on everybody.
Yeah, say nothing, see nothing.
That's right.
John Polly Farmer, Hobart Mercury. Now,
that's
a very powerful picture.
Year of the Rat. I think we'll always remember that. 2020, the year of the rat.
Yeah. Chinese are easy implying that the Chinese Communist Party is a rat haven.
And look at that dark. That's supposed to be the scales of the dragon.
Yeah. And the COVID virus, you know.
And he's had fun drawing that skull too, hasn't he?
Yep. I think that was a pretty powerful picture.
Mm.
And once again, he's calling for the message for an independent inquiry.
Mm.
And here we have Warren Barron, the Daily Telegraph. The Chinese have threatened Australia with boycotting our wine, our beef, because, you know, they're asking for an inquiry into the World Health Organization.
Mm.
I think it's funny.
So it looks like we're back on the menu where he's talking to the bat, and it's a live bat, it's not a dead bat. I wonder what that writing is on the wall, but it's an official communist bloke telling him to do that. So.
Yeah. Whether or not the people want to go back to live bats, it's hard to say. Maybe some will. But it does look like a wet market kitchen.
It does.
And here we got the Maria talking to a Chinese official. I think he's the Consul General.
Lockdown relationships are complicated.
Yeah. And it was interesting, the story behind this was a Chinese official said Australia was like a piece of gum stuck on the sole of your shoe. and the only way to get rid of it was to rub it on a rock.
Which is an incredible thing to, it's sort of unprecedented saying stuff
Yeah.
like that for
Well, Twiggy, like he's hanging on for.
Yeah, he's having fun there.
you know.
He's having fun there, isn't he? He's having fun there. And of course, who's on his shoulders?
Well, the Prime Minister, she's acknowledging our
Our
close
social,
tie to
Yeah.
China, but she wants a bit of distance.
but at the
social
same time,
distancing.
she's on his shoulders. You see, and that's
Yeah.
money, that's business. So it's all
Yeah, well, I think behind the government there's a lot of pressure from the mining companies and the industrials to
And the business,
do something or don't upset China too much.
and the business of Australia is business.
Absolutely.
That's what the cutting's all about.
Well, it's all about iron ore, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's how the billions are made. And gas, maybe. And our farms. Okay, here we have the
Who you gonna call?
leader of the World Health Organization, the leader of China,
And the leader
China's
of
president, and Donald Trump,
Mm.
America's president.
And there's the sick man of the world.
And the World Health Organization saying it needs funding. And Trump has said he's not going to fund it because he thinks they're turning a blind eye to China. But China's actually been offering to pick up funding for the World Health Organization.
And those syringes are lovely because they're all dollar signs.
Yeah.
See that?
And the injection of money.
Yeah, and look at the light source. It's the UN
Yeah, the UN symbol.
from the top, and it's got a like it's big picture international cartoon style. It's not a little cartoon, is it? And I
But
like
with Trump, when Trump's come to the table with nothing, has he?
no,
An empty syringe, no
yeah.
dollars there.
Or he's got a little thing there. I don't know what's in that. Some little tiny little cup.
Well, a
But
bunch of 20-cent pieces.
are they? And I love the mask, the American mask and the Chinese mask.
Yeah.
It's all, and of course the sick man of the world. Look with all the little bits coming up.
Yeah, the globe is all the hot spots all around.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and who you gonna call?
That's
well?
right.
You
Which
call
one?
the man with the money, I guess.
That's right.
And here's Mr. Trump. He's got his eyes on himself
Yeah,
and his coming re-election, I think.
it's based on a famous painting by Caravaggio about Narcissus falling in love with his own reflection.
Yeah.
And of course, behind him, he's got all those people who support him. And he's even got death as a... And who was it? Paolo, was it? Or
Oh, yeah.
Faccio.
He's a scientist. He's a
Yeah.
level-headed guy.
And he's-
talks sense.
And he's the one with the mop in his hand and the bucket, and the symbol of the tweet on the bucket. And of course, he's putting in all his bleach in the water.
Well, he's got to clean up Trump's tweets,
Yes,
which are all over the place.
that's right. Yeah, and of course, if you look at the COVID all starting to sprout like mushrooms out of Trump, yeah, that you see, it really spend time with Rose cartoons because he packs a lot of stuff in there, and you've got to look at it in large size or you won't see it.
In a sense, it's almost faceless men at the back, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's like Trump just wants yes men,
yeah.
and he Fauci he's threatened to sort of stand him down because the guy won't sort of bend to what he wants. He will just tell it like it is.
And like Apocalypse Now. What's it? Avalanche Now.
Yeah.
And of course he wants to open up the whole situation, doesn't he?
Yep.
Mm.
Okay, we're Captain's Cook landed 250 years ago, and we still haven't solved this one. Everyone's saying that.
Well, hold your fire. They just want to know if we're tested before we came ashore, said the Aboriginals. And this is based on a famous Emmanuel Phyllis Fox painting, which actually was commissioned. And for some reason he had to go to England to paint it. That was part of the commission, which I don't understand. But John Spooner's done a great job there with the clouds and everything else. Beautiful colour.
That'd be a good story to know why you had to go and paint it with that.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, you don't expect to see a cartoon with so much colour in a newspaper. Do you?
Well, not as a watercolour.
No.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, you can could hang this on your wall.
You can.
It's brilliant. Cook's journey down the east coast of Australia.
Mm.
And of course, Glenn Levere, I think he's been a little sarcastic here by saying sorry.
Well, he obviously
I
didn't.
think that all they did was pull guns on the Aborigines.
They didn't say sorry. They didn't say sorry. Yeah.
And we still can't say we're sorry.
No, and it's Cook's tour, isn't it? Cook's
Yep.
tour. Mm.
And as we said, boat tours are really on the nose at the moment.
That's right. That's right.
For the last you could say for the last 250 years, boats brought nothing but trouble.
Well, that's what the Aboriginals will say.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Aboriginals, look at this one.
And any of you named Dutton.
Yeah.
We just want the guy named Dutton.
That's right.
It's almost like Back to the Future. You
And
know?
it's sort of unprecedented because he's got the kangaroo, he's got a koala, a platypus, and what's that? That's a
Koala
wombat. Is it a wombat?
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
holding
wombat.
spears, telling him, to go away. Oh.
I guess if you want to get rid of someone in the future, go to the past
Yeah.
and
Stop the boats.
yeah.
Stop the boats.
Once again,
Yeah.
boats are nothing but trouble.
That's right.
Movie Princess is the latest example of that.
That's right. That's right.
And that's it, folks.
Yeah, well, thanks for checking us out on Cartoon Conversations, and we'll see you next week, and it's goodbye from him.
And goodbye from me.
Bye-bye.